I started reading when I was just a kid. I needed something to feed my mind, and I had all the suffering, and I didn't have a way to escape. Books were my escape. That's why I love books so much. It's like I could learn from somebody from another century. I could learn by another person's life experience. And then I started to do some speaking and touching people that way. But honestly, it's never been motivation for me. It's always been strategy, because motivation without strategy is like a warm bath. You know, you should take a bath or you're going to be dirty regularly. You need inspiration, but it's strategy too. But I know you're never going to hear the strategy unless we can move you. I mean, I do a weekend that's 50 hours. So Oprah comes and says, Tony, I love you to death, but no one sits for more than 3 hours. I can't do it. And 12 hours later, she's standing in her chair, looking at the camera going, this is one of the greatest experiences of my life. Or Usher, comes to me and says, Tony, I can't do 50 hours, dude. I just can't. 50 hours later, he's like, I laughed my ass off. This is one of the most incredible experiences of my life. So I've learned a way to refine the process to move people so that they act. If you just get pumped up, what good does it have? So this book is all these specific strategies. Here's what to do. Here's what Ray Dalio says, largest hedge fund on earth. I say to him, don't inspire me. Tell me, if your kids couldn't get any of your money, not on a dime, and you were going to show them what to do, what would you show them? What would you tell them? He said, Tony, I've spent 10 years of my life refining this process. All my money's in it. It's called my all-weather strategy, because it works. The stock market goes up or down. And he said, I've tested it back to 1925. It makes money 85% of the time. So he tells me the strategy is quite complex. And when you show it to the average financial person, they go, oh, that'll never work, because they're not Ray Dalio. They haven't figured out $160 billion to manage. It takes $5 billion 10 years ago net worth and $100 million for him to talk to you. Now he won't do that for any amount of money. But he spent 3 hours with me. At the end, he shows me this formula. I said, you know what? This is great, but you showed me how to make a chocolate cake. It's very inspiring. You said use some chocolate, use some sugar, but I need the actual numbers, or no one's going to be able to act on this. They're never going to figure this out on their own. And he said, Tony, that's my secret sauce. So that's how I get billions of dollars. I said, yeah, but you've not taken money in 10 years. I said, you're a generous man. You've given, half of your net worth you're going to give away? Give me the formula. Give it to me. Let's tease it. He gave it to me. It's in the book. It's one of the formulas. And when you test it, over the last 75 years, it's been successful 85% of the time, year by year. And the times it's lost, it only lost 1.6% on average. The biggest loss was less than 4% in a world where the markets go up 50% down.
This book's going to make people money.
It'll make people money. The beautiful part of it is they don't have to pick Ray. They can decide who they want to follow, because I give you the strategies of all the best people.
The energy. Do you ever lose your energy? Do you ever get down?
Well, sure. I get exhausted. I get mad. I get tired. I'm a human being, but it's like an athlete. You built your muscle, so it's there for you. It doesn't last. What used to last when I was a kid, a month might last me a few minutes or an hour, something of that nature.
Don't ask for it to change out there. Ask for you to change here. Don't ask for a more favorable wind. We call that naive. Don't ask for better seed, better soil. This is the only planet you got. Just ask that you can get wiser and stronger and better, and be able to take care of your own responsibilities. Get better. Learn how to handle the seasons better. Let's go through them. Just get better at handling the winters. You can't change the winter. You can't change the seasons, but you can change yourself. You say, well, what can I do about the upcoming winters of my life? The challenges that I know I'm going to face. Here's what you can do. You can get wiser and stronger and better. Just make a list of that trio of words. Wiser, stronger. Go home smarter than you came. Go home with more ideas than you came with. Next, get stronger. You can develop the muscle. You can develop the courage muscle. You can develop the inspiration muscle. You can develop the dedication muscle. You can get stronger. There isn't anybody here that can't get stronger. Next time we see you, may not even recognize you. How strong you're going to be able to become in language, in style, and personality, the ability to cope, the ability to handle with anything that happens, no matter what happens. And the third one is get better. We can all get better. I've gotten better. First talk I gave, I stood up, my mind sat back down. But here's the secret to my success. I stood up and did it again. I stood up and I did it again. And I did it again, and I did it again all those many years ago. I did it when I was scared, and I did it when I didn't want to, and I did it when I was ill. And I did it when it didn't work well, and I did it when they didn't appreciate it, and I didn't a lot of times when I didn't know much what I was doing. I just did it anyway. And now, all these years later, I'm asked to walk on this stage with the greatest introduction I've ever had, greatest response and welcome I've ever had, the greatest opportunity I've ever had to touch this many lives with a mixture of words and heart and soul. I got better. I got better day by day and week by week and month by month, and I'm asking you to do the same thing until you can develop a long arm and a long reach until you can develop influence that won't quit. Touch people next year you couldn't touch this year. Touch people now you couldn't touch before. Conduct a meeting now you couldn't conduct before. Heart and soul now mixed in there that wasn't there, missing before. I'm asking all of you to get better in spite of the winters, in spite of the downturn. The money downturn, the social downturn, the personal downturn, whatever it is. Just get stronger. Get better. The key is not to wish for a better winter. The key is to wish for more strength, more wisdom, more courage, get better, get wiser, get stronger.
So, if you own your failure, you'll own your success. So what is personal growth? You know, I think about entrepreneurship. Some of us are in this to do social good and make money. Some of us are into this for political causes and make money. Some of us are just here to make money. But we all have different motivations. So we all define growth differently. Sometimes it's social to me, it could be personal, it could be financial, it could be a bigger house, a bigger car. Whatever it is, we all define it differently. But what is common about growth? If you do tomorrow what you did today, you will get tomorrow what you got today. Benjamin Franklin. That is the definition of not growing, isn't it? If you do tomorrow what you did today, you didn't grow, did you? Then you get tomorrow what you got today. You didn't grow, did you? So, there it is. If you do it the same tomorrow, there's no growth. If you attain the same result tomorrow, there's no growth. So how do we get better? Every day, every hour. How do we find those resources? How do we find the energy, the knowledge to do that? That's what I want to talk about. So I want to change your mindset. Insanity, you've seen this before, is doing the same thing again and again, expecting a different result. You know, years ago, I used to own 17 restaurants and bars in a bunch of states. And every September, I'd go to the property, and the GMs would make a presentation and give me their business plan for the year. And I'd read through the business plan and would say, oh, going to raise sales by 20% in 6 months. Awesome. Tells me breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night, booze, wine. I'm in. Then next year I come back. 20% in 6 months, lunch, breakfast. And I realized, wait a minute. This is the same shit I read last year. Said by the same people who said it last year, and I'm supposed to get on a plane and feel good about this. So what does 20% in 6 months mean? Well, does anything happen next month? What about 2 months from now, 3 months from now? When does something happen? Not till the last day. 5 months and 29 days, I gotta sweat bullets. What the hell does 20% in 6 months mean? How do you get your arms around that? How do you turn it into something that's meaningful in business? So, open your mind and play with me for a moment. What business are you in? What business do you want to be in? Retail, customer service, consumer, B2B? What business are you in? I love it when people say, oh, I'm in retail, I'm in medical devices, I'm in, every one of these is wrong. You see, it doesn't matter what business we're in. We don't sell products, we don't sell services, we don't sell advice, and we don't sell solutions. All of that is textbook bull. Everything we do is a process, never a result. That process must establish an emotional reaction. That reaction is our product. So, let me be a restaurant guy for a minute. The cook in the kitchen is making an entree, right? He thinks that's the product. So the entree comes out to the table, goes on a table, one of two things happens. Either you sit up and look at it and react to it, or nothing happens. If nothing happens, that business is stuck in mediocrity forever. So, is the product a plate of food or the reaction that the guest had to the plate of food? Which is the product? The reaction is the product, isn't it? You see, I'll redesign that plate 30 times until you sit up. Because I understand that the product is the way you react to things. We can all buy cell phones from any company. It's the way we react to the product that matters. It's presentation, it's emotion, it's perceived value, far more than absolute value. The fact of the matter is, everything we do must create reactions. Those reactions drive frequency, drive spend, and fuel the economy of our country. And he or she who creates the best reaction wins.
commit to a path of action today. Not Monday morning, I'm gonna start. Why would you start Monday morning when you have today right now?
You were too hung up on blaming your teachers for how they spoke to you. You're too hung up on anything that happened to you years ago. I'm not trying to discredit your pain, but you gotta let that go.
It works because it reprograms that filter in your mind to begin to find those things in your life. If you don't take control of them and you think you're just going to work your way into it.
Every day, I wake up and think of my ideal life. I have so many goals that I want to accomplish. I have so much that I want to do. I have a vision of my life, and I'm nowhere near where I want to be at times. I get overwhelmed, and I become so impatient with myself. I truly feel. Sometimes I'm just falling behind. I feel at times the clock is winding down.
So whatever you're trying to do, man, if you planning on eating right, start today. If you plan on exercising, start today. If you planning on saving, save today. If you planning on having a better relationship with the person you love, start right now. Call them, tell them you love them, tell them you're sorry. That's a good place to start. Everybody wrong. Look, man, God got a great life for you. I kid you not, but you have to get yourself in a position to receive it. You cannot complain about your condition in life, but yet and still you do nothing about your condition. It does not work that way, man. God wants to bless you, but you gotta have something to put his finger on. If you're doing nothing, he can't bless you. I'm telling you, man, just put forth an effort. You make one step, you gotta try better.
And because of that, you aren't able to appreciate the strength and power you have today. You aren't able to step into that power because you are choosing to justify excuses every single time you open your fucking eyes. It's time to take responsibility. Understand that you are in control of how you feel every day, what you do every day, how you act every day. So don't get it twisted. The excuse that these outside sources control how you feel, what you do, and how you act is just a justification that has been drilled into your head since you were younger.
You have to try more. Just try more. You know, tomorrow ain't promised. Why would you wait till tomorrow? You know, something else, can I also tell you this part right here? Stop waiting on tomorrow to get here, because when tomorrow gets here, guess what? Something else got to be happening. And now you look up and you feel overwhelmed. And you get overwhelmed when there's a lack of accomplishment and a lack of completion. If you never complete nothing and you never have nothing you can point to as an accomplishment, then guess what? You start to feel overwhelmed. Man, I'm overwhelmed. I got so much. That's because you ain't complete. Oh man, I just can't seem to get it together. It's because you ain't accomplished. But to accomplish anything and to complete anything, you gotta start somewhere. Start today. Let today be the day.
All right.
Break out of it. Understand that we have the power to change our lives. Stop putting the power in other people's hands by blaming them for your current situation. Take that back. Choose to shift the trajectory of your life so you can live up to your true potential. The King Eric Thomas said it best. Everybody wants to be a beast until it's time to do what beasts do. Guess what? Beasts don't sleep in every day. They understand that they need to sacrifice sleep in order to be successful. Beasts don't binge watch Netflix. When they want to change their life, they utilize that time to take action. Beasts don't blame the past for where they are in the present. They utilize that pain as a fucking lesson so they can see more success in the future. Embrace self-discipline. Stop trading short-term pleasure for long-term gains.
It truly is a struggle to stay positive and motivated. Sometimes, like most people, I want to throw in a towel and just give up. Sometimes it just feels like there's just no use. There's just too much ground to cover. I need to cover it so that I can get where I need to be. I need to constantly remind myself over and over again, I am not yet where I want to be, but I know I'll get there. I am not where I want to be, but I am so grateful. I am not where I used to be. I am talking to those people that are just about to give up, that are just about to lose all hope.
You will work yet another year, another month, another decade, and that life's going to look an awful lot the same because We become what we think about, and if we don't alter those 9%, our life ends up looking exactly the same. So my challenge to you is to program your RAS, to write those goals down, and to repetitiously program them into your thinking as much as you can. I used to walk this beach as a kid and say, this is where I want to live someday. I knew exactly what beach, I knew exactly the area, and the more my brain went to work on that specific thought, that specific place, the more likely it was to happen. So remember this, the more specific you are with your thinking, the more intentional you are with the thoughts, the higher the probability of it happening, and your brain can go to work, that RAS can go to work on finding the people, places, things, and resources to fill in that very specific thought that you have.
When you are hungry, you are creative. When you are hungry, you are innovative. When you are hungry, when you are no longer full, when you are no longer satisfied with where you are and you raise your standards, it is only then that you can have your future.
I can get through this. I will get through this. I must get through this. The days you're not plugged in are the days you don't get 120.
You study any animal in the animal kingdom, and I will tell you this, that the lion is king because the lion is hungry. The elephant is bigger than the lion. The cheetah is faster than the lion. But nobody is more hungry than the lion. Go ask any athlete, actor, musician, philanthropist, it doesn't matter. You ask anybody who is a champion.
I am here, ladies and gentlemen, to cheer you on, to let you know that you my friends, are going to get there. You are going to get that promotion. You are going to complete that marathon, and you are going to run for your life. Whatever you are working towards, you are going to get there, but you got to get crystal clear what it is you want, what it is that you are seeking for, what it is you truly want. You must know. You've got to know that you're going to get there, but most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, work like hell, cross the ground, and keep moving. Make the ground shake, crack the world. Get it going, don't let nothing stop you.
So don't be general, be specific, and repeat it over and over and over again to yourself. You got a whole lot more likelihood of happening. The other thing is this, your brain likes to gravitate towards what it's most familiar with. The brain loves familiar things, okay? So the more you think about something, the more you place yourself on that beach, in that house, with that amount of money, with that body, the more repetitive it is that you place yourself in those things, those places, and those situations. The more your brain becomes familiar with it, the more it gravitates towards it. You can't think about it once. It's the repetition over and over again. Your brain begins to think, oh, I belong here. We belong here. You actually eventually convince yourself, literally, that you belong in your dreams by the repetitive and specific thinking and visions of them over and over again. One thing to be conscious of is the RAS doesn't reveal to you necessarily what you need necessarily, because what you need has always been there. What it does is it opens you up to seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting the things that you need in order to attract them into your life.
And the difference between them and their opponent is they were more hungry for it. If there's anything I can pour from my heart in this moment, my greatest piece of advice is to protect your hunger. If you can stay hungry, you can get the resources. If you can stay hungry, you can get the strategy. If you can stay hungry, the ideas gonna come. If you can stay hungry, the connections will be aligned. If you can stay hungry, you gotta be hungry for your dream. You gotta be hungry for your next level. You gotta be hungry for connection and alignment. You have to be hungry to fulfill your destiny. Hunger is not an idea. Hunger is not a mood. Hunger is a lifestyle. I'm never full. This is me every day, all day. I'm hungry to learn. You gotta be hungry to read. You have to be hungry to grow. You have to be hungry to manifest what is in your head.
I am pleading with you. When the rest of the world shuts you down, you've got to be the one to stand up, shout out, cry out, stay tall, work hard, dig deep, and go after it. There's nothing going to stop me. If you didn't make me, you can't break me. If you didn't make the sun come up, you can't stop me. If you didn't make the moon shine that night, you can't stop me. My purpose, my will, my dedication, my motivation is all about doing the business, because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? That's what I'm about. I'm about that business. I'm about that life. What are you about? The greatest ability that God has given humankind above the animals is the ability to choose. A dog can't be anything but a dog. A cat can't be anything but a cat. A human being has the power to choose. We can choose. And I'm asking you, what you see in the future for you?
would not you make it by Friday? But suppose I told you how you can become a millionaire with what you have.
I got my daughter who's a senior at Michigan State counting on me, and she don't know what a loan is. She don't know what FAFSA is. I got my mama who retired counting on me.
There's nothing worse than being stupid. And if you will read the books, learn from your experiences, do all the things that you possibly can to get the information,
you continue to fight on no matter the circumstances. Tired as you are as many mistakes as you, may you do make a difference there is. Something they would lose if you were not there. There was something that they would miss if you were not there. You do make a difference. We all have things that we're believing for, dreams that we want to accomplish, problems we're hoping will turn around. Maybe it's to see our family restored, to lose some weight, to break an addiction, to start our own business.
Because here's the deal. All of you have everything it takes to become rich. You just don't believe it. Now, if you can develop this theory that I'm about to share with you, I have the way for you to be rich. This is it. First of all of you have a gift. God gave it to you when he created you. God never created a single soul without giving them a gift. That's the God that created you. He's a very smart God. Here's the cold thing. When he made you, he put the gift inside of you. He didn't hide it under the ocean. It ain't on the mountain nowhere. It ain't under no rocks. You ain't got to go drilling. God put what you needed inside of you at birth. All of you have a gift.
That's why they go on relationship. That's why they start to tear it down. That's why the relationship starts to break down, because people get scared when it isn't working out, and then they make it worse than it is so they don't have to try. Because they don't want to try again and be disappointed. They don't want to feel that sense of rejection. They don't want to feel that sense of failure. So most people make it much worse than it is. People tell me all the time, oh, I'm skeptical or I'm pessimistic. I said, no, you're gutless. It takes no guts. It takes no courage to be a pessimist, to say it's not going to work, to try to find out what's wrong. What's wrong is always available. So what's right. So I'm not into positive thinking, but I am into intelligence. And intelligence says, see it as it is. Don't make it worse than it is. You must immediately clarify what has to be changed. Whenever you have what you used to call a negative emotion, you're now going to call an action signal. You know that action signal is signaling you need to change one of two things. Either your perception or your procedure.
But you have got to do your gift. The thing God gave you at birth to do. It is the thing that you do the absolute best with the least amount of effort. That's your gift. Anything else you doing, you wasting your time. Do you hear me? You wasting your time. If when the alarm clock goes off in the morning and it makes you sick every morning that alarm go off, it's because you ain't doing your gift. You're going against what God created you to be. Do most of you know what your gift is? Who in here doesn't know their gift yet? Okay, let me tell you what you do. Go home today. Don't talk to nobody. Sit down and have one conversation with yourself. What is the thing that I do the absolute best with the least amount of effort? This ain't gonna take you long. You old enough, you grown. Write it down. I don't care if it's networking.
Now let me clarify what I mean by that. Your perception might be, for example, that, gosh, you feel hurt. You feel like your husband doesn't love you so much anymore, or your wife doesn't love you so much anymore because, gosh, when you first met, boy, all you had to do was, look at them and they dropped their newspaper and came over and hugged you. Now they don't. You have a sense of loss and that hurts you inside. And that hurt is a lot more painful than the feelings of just being uncomfortable. The point, though, is this. Is this an appropriate emotion for you to feel based on this situation and this time with this person? That's really the question we want to ask ourselves whenever we have an emotion. We know that we have that signal. We need to first identify it, and then secondly, immediately appreciate this signal is offering us a message, and the message is we need to change. Again, our perception or our procedure. So our perception might be, person doesn't love me. Do we need to change our perception? Do we have some rules that are inappropriate in this situation? And the answer here probably is yes. Wouldn't you agree? This person is just wrapped up in what they're doing because they're just immersed. It doesn't mean they love you any less.
Sometimes as it goes on month after month, even year after year, we don't see anything changing. It's easy to get discouraged and think, it's never going to happen. This is as good as it gets. I'll just learn to live with it. We all go through disappointments. Setbacks, loss, pain is a part of life. It's easy to get discouraged, even bitter, think, why is this happening to me? Sometimes we look at pieces in our lives that don't make sense. The key is what we do in our times of pain. Pain will change us. Heartache, loss, disappointments, they don't leave us the same every painful time. Even though you don't like it.
I can't be replaced. Some of y'all acting like, you acting like you indispensable. You acting like if something happened to you, they're gonna wait around for the next 2-3 years. Like your spot is just guaranteed. Talk to me, why can't you be replaced? I got one, give me one more. Why can't you, maybe you don't even know why you can't be replaced. Do you know why you can't be replaced? Anybody? Don't let me call on you. Come on, talk to me. Why can't you be replaced? I got time. Coach, I asked him how much time I had before I came in. He told me what I had. We got a little bit more. I can sit here and wait the whole time if you want me to. But I need somebody to tell me why you can't be replaced. Oh, you good. You know already. I feel you, bro. You good. I need somebody else. You already, good.
You fought your whole life to get to this point just to let it slip away.
Sure enough, you'll be wiser this year than you were last year. And I've got a few techniques that I teach in my seminar on how to get smarter. Keeping a journal, going to the lectures, going to the seminars, listening to the sermons, picking up ideas from other people. You just must keep up this steady process of learning. Never cease your quest for knowledge. And that's one of the key points to go from average to fortune. Get smart. This is called the possibility for life change starts with education. Don't be lazy in learning. Don't be lazy in picking up the ideas. Don't be lazy in learning from your own experience. Learning is the beginning of wealth. Learning is the beginning of life change. Some people want to start with motivation, but you don't start with motivation. Somebody says, just motivate this guy, he'll be all right. The answer is no, probably not.
It's developing something in you that can only be developed in the tough times. Eventually, that will pass, you will get through it, but you will be different. In those tough times when you're uncomfortable, going through a loss, dealing with an illness, you could easily let it overwhelm you. Now how the pain changes you is up to you. You can come out bitter, or you can come out better. You can come out defeated, giving up on your dreams, or you can come out with a new passion and new fire, excited about the new opportunities in front of you. I may not like it, but I'm not a whiner. I'm a warrior. I know I can handle this.
Did you hear what he just said? That's another player. That's why I'm saying because I don't play football. Say it one more time.
You fought your whole life to get to this moment just to let it slip away.
You know what's crazy, bro? I've been doing this for a long time. I used to think in my mind, like when I used to go and speak for teams, I used to think in my mind like, yo, y'all finally there, right? Like, yo, like bros in here like scrapping and people getting up early and people eating right, like, and people ain't on social media and people ain't smoking and people ain't drinking. Like, I was so stupid when I first started doing this. I thought everybody that came to the league was about that life. I just thought everybody was like getting up first thing in the morning, hitting the weights, eating right. I thought everybody came out like, let's go. And then I realized, yo, some dudes got here. This was their whole dream to get to the league, and they got to the league and they ain't got no more dream. You finally got to where you've been trying to get to your whole life, and you were sweeter in high school in terms of the grind. You worked harder in college than you do in the NFL. It blew my mind. You here.
If a guy's an idiot, you motivate him. Now you got a motivated idiot. So education, get smart. Don't miss the training class. You say, well, I've already been to one of those classes. I've already heard it. Got a good phrase for you to take home. That's no sign you got it. Just because you've listened to those millionaire tapes one time is no sign you've got it. I'm asking you to listen to them over and over and over. I'm asking you to dedicate yourself to a new level of learning. You know, study, learn, grow, change, develop. Never let it be said you didn't learn. Right? If you want to solve your problems, you got to learn. If you want to take advantage of an opportunity, you got to learn. Develop your own personal philosophy here. Philosophy, major determining factor in how your life works out. Each person's philosophy is like the set of the sail. The same wind blows on us all. The difference in where we arrive at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year is not the wind that blows.
Don't complain about the pain. Without the pain, we couldn't reach the fullness of our destinies. Sometimes we bring pain on ourselves. We make poor choices. Get in a relationship we know is not good, or maybe get over our head in our spending. Now it's painful. We're having to deal with the consequences. All of us experience pain. My challenge: don't just go through it, grow through it. That difficulty is an opportunity to get stronger, to develop character, to gain new confidence.
Nothing may be changing on the outside, but something's happening on the inside.
I could always hear my daddy's voice. I don't care where I was. I could be on the school bus. I could be in the lunchroom. I could be on the playground. I could be somewhere I shouldn't be.
And that's how I talk. I shoot pool. I make you tear up your cards, break your cue stick.
Only thing that's going to make you happy, my friend, in this year or any other is to step up. It's to raise the standard. It's to discover what you're capable of and feel that incredible power pushing through whatever's holding you back and get to the other side of more of your true self. That's what this game is all about. So life is real short, so you have all your traveling and of all your sleeping and of all your school. Out of all your entertainment, you've probably been half your life doing nothing. So out of 30 years, I might have about 16 years to be productive. So it's how we can all break individual lives now. You've got to completely divorce yourself from this notion of outcome and become completely obsessed with the idea of sincere pursuit. Now, why sincere pursuit? The reason to tie your sense of self, your self-esteem. Why?
Your character is being developed. You're gaining experience, maturity, strength that you'll need to go where God is taking you. Don't complain about the silence. God does His greatest work in isolation. When God is silent, that doesn't mean He's not concerned. Just the opposite. It's a sign that He's closely watching you. God loves you so much that at times He will hide you. He'll cause the door not to open. He'll cause a person to walk away. If you don't understand that it's God hiding you, you'll be frustrated and try to make things happen out of God's timing. You have to pass this test when you're hidden. Here's a key. Don't compare your life to other people's.
I can always hear my daddy's voice. My daddy could protect me on the streets of Chicago when he was not even there. You have children. You have grandchildren. Make sure they can always hear your voice. But most importantly in business, whose voice are you listening to? When it comes to franchising, whose voice are you listening to? When it comes to same-day sales, whose voice are you listening to? When it comes down to hiring the right Cassie, whose voice are you listening to? When it comes down to being successful in franchising, whose voice are you listening to? My wife and I are former franchisees. That's why I'm a no-brainer to speak at franchise conferences, because every franchise system has typically 2 groups at the conference.
They're further along. They don't have the challenges you do. God's purpose for your life is not the same as theirs. Stay focused on your calling. You may have big dreams, but nobody is noticing you. Don't get discouraged. It's because God had you hidden. You are in a time of preparation. God is getting you ready for what He has in store. You will come into a time where God causes you to be seen. Just as God hid you, He will bring you out into the open and cause you to go where you couldn't go on your own. When God brings you out, He will catapult you forward. When you have an expensive piece of jewelry, you put it in a box and hide it. It's valuable, so you keep it hidden. When you're going somewhere special, you bring it out for people to see. The reason you're hidden is because you're extremely valuable.
You have the one group that buys in, and they're in the corner talking about how can we execute? How can we improve same-day sales? Wow, you're doing good, I'm doing good. Let's keep working together. What can we do to improve the brand? We're at the conference. Let's buy in. There's always another group over in the other corner. Like, yeah, man, corporate. Yeah, corporate. Corporates are always trying to sell us something. I know. They're just trying to make money. All that stuff they're talking about, you gonna do it? Nope, me either. So every system, trust me, has 2 different groups at the conference. The group that buys in, and the group that's rebels and rebels. Here's another rhetorical question for you. What group are you with?
You really have to work hard for a set of skills that matter to you. A fool never learns. A smart man learns from his mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. So you've got to completely divorce yourself from this notion of outcome and become completely obsessed with the idea of sincere pursuit. And so when you look at the night sky and that sense of awe grips you, it calls something out of you right to respond to your encounter with the infinite, even your encounter with mortality, your encounter with finitude and limitation, all of that. In relationship to the internet, that sense of awe is also the calling forth of something out of you that can respond to the challenge of that infinite. Well, that's the microcosm within. No, it's a reflection of the structure of the cosmos itself. That's the divine ideal.
Because I talk a lot of trash. I'll throw you off. You've never been to Boston, I'll take you there. So I learned how to signify and talk trash, all right? So I make a living talking trash to AT&T. I make more in 1 hour than 90% of the American public earn working for a whole year doing what I love to do. That I've developed my talent. You want to master your talent. Find out what it is that you love to do. I love to talk. Scripture is another key that says to us what we need to do to begin to develop ourselves. Luke 12:34, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So what do you love to do? And then explore ways in which you can earn a living doing that. Cooking, writing, painting, working with numbers, working with people. The other thing is, not only must you have knowledge, talent, some skill.
See, at the gym, you never think, oh, I'm going through some pain and discomfort. This must be a sign I shouldn't be at the gym. You'd never think that. You have to break it down, suffer and sacrifice for it to grow.
When you need motivation yourself, don't look for someone to scream and yell. Don't look for someone else to give you motivation. Look at yourself and remind yourself why you are doing what you are doing. This temporary pain, this fight, this is what will make you stronger.
That's the key word, discipline. Self-discipline. Consistent self-discipline. It doesn't really matter how smart you are or how much you know if you don't use it. Better than knowledge is applied knowledge.
I'll never be rich you what you want the moment. You change the frequency that your tower emits, different things come back to you. If you change your attitude, you change your altitude. Most of us go through life pretending that we're satisfied where we are, pretending that everything is okay, pretending that we don't have any special goals or ambitions or desires. When really deep down inside, we do really want more, because you have to judge a tree by the fruit it bears, not the fruit that it talks about. See, a lot of people pretend that they want more out of life, but all you have to do is watch their actions.
But the other thing that's important, faith to act on whatever your dream is. See, if you don't believe in yourself, how many people you know that have a lot of talent, a lot of abilities, but they don't believe in themselves? Raise your hands. See, that faith is very important. So the faith to act on those dreams, those desires. Here's scripture that I like very much. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. Commit means to carry into action deliberately. Commit means to make it happen no matter what. Commitment. There's a difference between next time you have bacon and eggs. The chicken was involved. The pig was committed. He had to give it all up. That's going to take a minute to sink in. No, all right? See, when you make a commitment, I'm going to become wealthy. When you make it important.
And once we've applied our knowledge, we must study the results of that process.
Get the clutter out. Start letting some of this junk go to make some room for something else. Do that with people. There's some people who's cluttering up your life. They're just holding and occupying the space that somebody useful, positive could be holding that space. You don't even have time to look to see what else is out there, because you all have all of these people surrounding you that's not enabling you to grow.
I mean, tonight, you've experienced someone failing. Maybe your mom was never there. Maybe it was a boyfriend who promised you the world but took off. Before you know it, what happens is these failures are holding us back from getting into our future. And these bad relationships are blinding us from all of the good potential relationships.
I will try 100 times to get up, and if I fail 100 times. If I fail and I give up, do you think that I'm ever going to get up? No. But if I fail, I try again and again and again. For as long as I try, there's always that chance of getting up, and it's not the end until you've given up. You have to start living your life in expectation. You've got to start expecting great things to happen for you. In order for it to happen, if you live your life in expectations, that's what happens to you. If you live your life in despair, that's what happens to you. Disengage your sense of self, your sense of self-worth. From achievement, once you are wholly focused on sincere pursuit, everything changes.